Welcome, Sagittarius. This is Regina from Pacific Tarot getting ready to do your full moon reading in Leo, which is occurring on February the 1st. There's a number of planetary energies that are occurring right now. Something you may have heard a lot about is Saturn and Neptune moving into Aries. Neptune moved in the end of, or is moving in a couple of days, and Saturn will be moving in mid-February. But in between these two very significant ingresses, which are about a new level of experience and enterprise, energy, effort, there is Uranus, which is going direct in Taurus. It's been in Taurus for a while, but the planet of revolution, Uranus, is about making the changes we need to make as gently, as easily, as productively as possible, with as much grace as possible. So this goes directly to the theme of embodiment, which I do want to, I feel like that is a theme that's in the air. We experience revelation and heightened awareness, but do we take the time to embody that knowledge? Are we listening to our body? And for many Sagittarians, this information comes directly through dreams, through your sleeping life. Indeed, your meditations can amplify and direct your dreams, but it occurs to me that many of you are experiencing deep connections with not only ancestors and spirit guides of this world, but you're moving into a new level of galactic support, galactic knowledge, the ability and desire to explore beyond our planet throughout the solar system. So I pulled for you as your overall energy the Ace of Jades, the Ace of Pentacles, and this is about your focus on investing, your focus on security and stability. And it's so interesting that I'm seeing you're appreciating the link between your physical body and your physical world. You're appreciating the ability to listen to the wisdom of your body, that lived experience that engenders emotions that keep you or verify that you're on track. And this is powerful for many of you because I'm guessing many of you have been able to take your health or your body for granted. Perhaps just the opposite is true for some of you. Perhaps you've had a lifelong physical limitation that has prevented you from taking your body for granted, or as a kind of way that you feel outside of the norm or different. And this is helping you to recognize that that is can be a positive opportunity that you are recognizing and appreciating in life. But whatever leads to security, stability, and in a very uncertain world, you realize not only are you investing in, but you yourself are an investment. You are being seen as an investment. You're investing in your knowledge and your wisdom, in your ability to explore and to continue to discover. From the Egyptian sacred animals, I pulled the gazelle, number 19, and I'll read that from the guidebook. The key words are grace and agility. Associated with Satet, goddess of fertility, and the waters of the Nile, the gazelle symbolizes grace, speed, and fertility. Its elegant figure also represents beauty and purity. In everyday life in ancient Egypt, in addition to providing meat for food and skins for clothing, the gazelle is seen as a guarantee of well-being. If it appears, it may be an invitation to be more fluid and adaptable in your actions and interactions with others. Trust your instincts and follow your inner guidance. You're under the protection of higher forces or spiritual guides. The gazelle, being a land animal, symbolizes the connection with nature and the environment, suggesting that you spend more time outdoors and connect with your natural surroundings. This is really resonating on this idea that for some of you, many of you, if not most, have been able to take your grace, your beauty, your strength, your physical adaptability for granted. And perhaps you're understanding that although you may now understand the connection between your physical body and your material world, you are building on a more conscious and responsible relationship to your body, a greater respect for that body. For those of you that have been challenged in that regard, it nevertheless helps you to continue to connect that relationship of you, your awareness, and your physical well-being, how one is an investment in the other. In the soul's journey, I pull the card, trust. I will accept that my inner voice will always guide me correctly. And this is verifying this idea about embodiment, how all the ways that we have grown to listen to ourselves. And intuitively, I believe that Sagittarius is one of, everybody is intuitive. But Sagittarians have a particular bent around spirit, intuition that empowers their ability to be adventurous, to quest, to follow their pursuit of truth or justice in a way that can seem courageous and actually foolhardy and random to others. But it truly is guided from wisdom from within. And that is something you may now feel is verified through your experiences, not only with your own well-being, but your sense of growth, that you, in following that intuition, have been led wisely to a place of continuous openness to new information. And now going full circle perhaps with your relationship with your spirit guides, your ancestors who are showing themselves to you in new ways. Perhaps you are receiving new spirit guides, or new ancestors are showing up that you had little to no contact with in life, but that you have always wondered about. And they may be showing up because now you're ready for some new aspect of experience. In the 10th house, the Four of Staffs is about your place in the world. And this is really affirming the idea that you are going for a foundation. You're building a cultural, a spiritual, a social foundation for your growth. Wherever you live, however you define your community, it is thriving. It recognizes your growth, invites the growth of others, and gives you the platform to recognize that this is a gift. Always learning. This is the key to life for many of you, and you're experiencing this through your communities, your neighbors, your loved ones. This can be something you experience through your work that is intimately tied to the land. In the first house, the Lord of Swords, or the King of Swords, is describing this ability to put your emotions aside, to allow yourself some space from these powerful emotions that you are feeling, and to recognize that as you now invest in your body's wisdom, you are challenging assumptions about yourself. You are opening up to new ideas about how you are, what your capacity is, and new information that is, again, opening up possibilities for you in the world. So this shows you to be a champion of the truth in some way, an activist regarding justice in some concrete way. And it feels as though this is related to work that you do. Certainly work or your presence in the community shows up in a leadership capacity. You're moving forward in a way that is requires a lot of information that others need to hear. And it is, you're sharing your experience of change that you've appreciated through this new experience of community, this new way of collaborating with neighbors or those you work with. In the fourth house, the Lord of Cups, the King of Cups. Wow, you are in such a beautiful, calm, fluid space with yourself. This desire to manifest your well-being, your stability and security often is around your abundance, the portal of that prosperity, understanding your worth. You are at deep peace with what that can mean, not in terms of what we consider riches or fame, but in terms of the abundance that already exists, who you already are, what you already have. And this is a direct result of many of the challenges, particularly the loss that you have experienced. This is reevaluating your ability to give, either in service, always from love, as being a strength. Although it can feel as though you have abused or been abused by that willingness to share with others, your vulnerability is absolutely one of the best qualities you have. To be open to that, to not be afraid to love, even when it looks foolish, it looks wrong, because you are guided. You do trust that you're giving to those who need that. You are not responding to others who have been unkind, ungraceful, even cruel to you with that same energy back. You would rather turn away altogether than to retaliate or reciprocate behavior that is undignified to you, unprincipled to you. So this shows a phenomenal deep peace that you've gained from oftentimes a lot of hurt, a lot of suffering. In the seventh house, the house of your significant others, the Two of Cups. And most of you that know me know that relationships or deep connections, significant connections, always start with a relationship to self. And here you're showing me a sense of command around your pursuit of the truth, your investment in that, and your emotional and feeling, your intuition, your emotional landscape. That is an area where you have taken a sense of ownership for your experiences, what you know, what you are searching for, how that makes you feel, how that doesn't shift who you are, it doesn't change who you are, but it helps you acknowledge and see that as a way of verifying for many of you what is right for you and when you're off track. So this relationship to self, far from excluding you from social relationships that you might desire or that you have, actually opens you up to relationships that match you, that recognize your value, your worth. You trust in those as a result of listening to your body's intuition, the way in which your healing has impacted the subtleties of energies that you now pay attention to. You once might have numbed them out or escaped them in some way. And I think most of us know about the many ways that we can do that. We can sabotage our own selves, our own self-knowing. And it isn't just the typical drugs or alcohol. It's anything that provides us with escape from who we are And those options are myriad in the world we live in. Netflix binging, food addictions, sex addictions. There are many ways that we can lose ourselves on purpose. And you are healing that. You are understanding that you're actually at your best when you are fully present to all that you've learned, all that you know, all that you are. I'm going to clarify these cards and hope that if this is resonating for you, that you will like this video and subscribe to my channel. I've pulled for the Lord of Swords, the Eight of Pentacles, for the Lord of Cups, the Ace of Swords, for the Two of Cups. Ooh. I pulled the Three of Swords, and for the Four of Staffs, I've pulled the High Priestess. Okay. So again, I do want to re-emphasize that your dream life is an area of a lot of activity for you, that you actually are directing your dream life, and who and what you learn, you're asking specifically more and more for what you desire. You're no longer turning over your learning, your edification, the information you seek to someone else's decision. You're saying, I need help with X. And that does require a lot of trust from an environment in which you being outside of the norm in some way, being different, always being willing to cheerlead others, to encourage others on, to see the bright side, required, in some cases, a lack of putting yourself forward, a way that you hid behind optimism for others. And I know that may be a different way of looking at that, but as someone with a Sag rising and a lot of Sagittarian planets, I can tell you that I've learned how being excited for others is a way of hiding, not being stepping forward, not being seen. And this is something that you've worked on. You're very clear that you are here to be present. Your presence is what is needed in the world. And with that awareness, you are working very diligently to improve upon the knowledge you have, the knowledge you are gaining, the crafting of your product, your presence, what you contribute, your effort. You work diligently and incredibly hard, but very strategically, very aware that improvements in yourself, in your life, in your craft, what you make, what you put into the world is improvement in your, it is a reach in terms of your pursuit of the truth, the pursuit of justice. You do the work. You see what needs to be done in a way that you can do it. And you do that. And that provides the leadership to others at a level that doesn't require you to build an organization necessarily. You do your part, and that is, in fact, you put pretty much all of your conscious energy on a daily basis into doing your part, whatever that is. Servicing all parts of your life, doing the housework, paying the bills, feeding your creative spirit, reading more, whatever it is that fuels your life, you're putting that investment into yourself, which is in part what contributes to others seeing you as an investment. We have another ace here, the Ace of Swords, over the clarifying the Lord of Cups, the King of Cups. This is sort of an interesting way in which the truth, revelation, in some ways this feels abrupt on the surface of it. So I'm again deferring to this ability to dream, this ability to feed your creative self. This is really about an embrace of who you are. an acceptance of your dreamy, idealistic nature, your creative space, your imaginative world that has always been with you. This is who you are, but there's been some clear breakthroughs in that regard. And again, I'm going to this idea of meeting new ancestors or spirit guides that you never knew were on your team because perhaps you didn't know them in life. I'm thinking of relatives who perhaps you never met, particularly for those of us that had grandparents that came from other places and they passed on before we were conscious and alive. So there is a sense here that they are appearing to you in ways where you recognize them and you are being recognized by them as ready for some new level of imaginative creativity, some new way of dreaming. You're allowing yourself to dream at a level where they're now coming to your assistance. They're now showing you that you are in a new field of creativity, at a new level of production. And this is really powerful, beautiful energy. Specifically, I'm getting a male, and specifically, I'm getting someone from a distant past, a past that you had no connection with, even a location that you have no physical connection to, someone who never knew you, and perhaps did not even know your parents really well. So this is a powerful confirmation of your ancestral or generational healing, familial healing, trauma healing that you are doing, advancing yourself culturally in some way that benefits your ancestors as well as you. In the seventh house of significant others, Two of Cups is clarified by the Three of Swords. Yeah, I think you are deeply invested in understanding the patterns of behavior that you are breaking. You are quite possibly very engaged in family stories or narratives of any sort that help you to see larger psychological patterns that you are about and a part of. So personally, I have been deeply engaged in Osiris myth, and in particular, Osiris and Isis. Their relationship is one that deeply helps me understand my own healing process. And naturally, I am embodying both Osiris and Isis in my understanding of my generational or even cultural patterns of behavior and trauma that I've experienced. So that's sort of an example of ways that you can be becoming increasingly understanding of your past, a challenging past, one that has affected your ability to trust yourself and hence trust others. This is necessary in relationships, and if you've been felt that you've been let down or neglected as part of your experience in childhood in ways that maybe weren't even perceptive, were not obvious, particularly if they're ways that were not obvious, then this is a time when you are really looking deeply at how that dynamic applied to your life and is helping you to heal that dynamic. In the 10th house, the Four of Staffs is clarified by the High Priestess. And this is really, I believe, you understanding you are worthy and deserving of stability, security, cultural growth, having your growth celebrated. Many of you are highly achieved, highly educated, or you have been very successful in a number of enterprises in a way that allows you to understand that learning has been the key and openness to learning has been a key. And it has helped you to reclaim that you, in fact, do have a cultural or spiritual home in a community, that you are a significant ancestor or guide or model for others in a particular community that you now appreciate has encouraged your growth, your survival, yes, but your thriving, your ability to thrive in community with others and to celebrate that. There's something about celebration that feels as though you have been lacking the experience of being recognized, being celebrated, perhaps because you have stayed in some ways on the margins of a community, never quite feeling like you belong. And as you are rejecting the notion that you don't belong, as you accept your gift and your contribution to your community, to your planet, to your family, you are recognizing that celebration is a ritual part of closure. It's a part of solidifying and stabilizing a pattern, a way of working. And for you, collaboration is that way of working. I'm going to finish this reading with a rest card. I think this is called the nap deck or something like that. I will look it up and make sure. I've had this deck for quite a while and I love it. I will reject anything that degrades my divinity. When you overwork and exhaust yourself, there's no space for the magic and mystery of rest to move in your life. Your worth is not tied to how much you produce. Remember what is true. Your invitation to deprogram from the brainwashing of grind culture is always present. Reject the things that stand in the way of rest. You are a human being worthy of rest. Thank you, Sagittarius. If this reading resonated, again, please like this reading. Please subscribe to my channel, Pacific Tarot. And until next time, namaste.